Can you feel the pulse of something ancient calling you back home? What whispers when the world goes quiet? What if listening could change everything? Welcome to the Voice of Rituals. I'm Ramona Rudus, and this is your space to slow down, tune in, and reconnect. What if the clarity you seek isn't out there, but already within, passed down through generations, whispered by the earth, waiting to be heard and remembered? In each episode, we explore ancient rituals, modern mindfulness, and the art of simple, intentional living. Through meditations, oracle reflections, and soulful conversations, we'll remember what it means to live in rhythm with ourselves and the world. What if listening could change everything? Are you listening? Well, hello and welcome. Welcome back to the Voice of Rituals. Today, I am so honored to have a very special guest with us, a down-to-earth woman, a healer, an earth angel, I would call, a spiritual teacher, and a passionate woman who really brings the essence of everyday life of shamanic into our lives. She is called as a spiritual midwife. And for the first time, when I heard her TED Talk for a couple of months ago, I just knew here is a teacher that has embodied real essence of these practices that I am so drawn to. It's like seeing through your soul and knowing what is really needed for you to do whatever your gift are on this planet we call Earth. I am so happy to have her with us today. One of these episodes, we are going to reconnect to the essence of the unseen world, the ceremonies that connecting everyday little rituals to bring a little bit of magic in our lives. Welcome to the sacred space. Let's bring Beáta on to the podcast. I hope you enjoy. Hello, beautiful Beáta.
Hello, beautiful Ramona.
I am so happy to see your beautiful shining face. It just takes me back into our memories in Portugal. And oh, wow, what a week it was, Beata. Thank you. Thank you for taking your time to be with me today on the Voice of Ritual podcast. It means so much to me because whatever you did, whatever you do, it's so inspiring. And it is the rituals that I am every day, honesty, gratitude. And I feel like I want to bring some of these powerful practices and simple way to my listeners. So let's begin with you.
Oh, Ramona, thank you so much. Sorry, I just had to quit my one of my apps so that we wouldn't be disturbed. I I really love the sound of this podcast and what you've named this podcast because for me, life is the ceremony. And everything that we do within that context of life being the ceremony is the ritual. And I really believe that it's in the small everyday actions that we do that, that we really create those lives and forge those lives that we want to continue to build. So I love this and I'm so grateful to be here. We had an incredible week, and I think most of us are probably just landing now, and it's been over a month, right? Just over a month. So I feel like whatever we co-created together was so strong and so powerful. And this is the why I love gathering in community and why I love to gather with like-minded souls.
It was amazing. I mean, Beata, I think it was your beautiful power and your energy attracting, magnetizing every single soul that was on that week. It was, I
Oh,
would, I would call this my soul family. And honestly, yet today, there's not one day I go by not thinking, I'm getting all emotional, wow, not thinking about how powerful and how magical it was to be amongst all these beautiful souls. It
mm,
was like we're activating each other. It was a week of remembrance and ancestral power that, of course, it was also days that were a little bit more challenging, like the shadow work. So I want to jump straight into a little bit, maybe we can talk about the shamanism and the practices of the shamanism that because I know like yoga, there are so many different um, type or tribes, I would say. Maybe you could just explain a little bit what was the reason that it
mm.
drawn you into shamanism and why specifically this, the Andeans, I think you were talking about. And
Yes. I would be very happy to. So, I started off as a professional dancer and then made my way to become a yoga teacher and yoga facilitator for many years in Australia. And I remember one of my students that I was teaching in a very early morning class came up to me and said, "Look, they are opening up a school of the shamanic arts in Australia." And I was like, wow, this sounds really fascinating. And what I learned over the 2 years of my formal training, and then since then, obviously, the real training began when I left the school and started working with Indigenous elders from all over the world, was that the shamanic arts and the principle of shamanism is very common from Asia to Siberia to India, for instance, to the Native Americans, the North Americans, and the South Americans. So I'm practicing something called core shamanism, which is a concept that was brought to the West, excuse me, by Michael Hana. And what I like to practice is a type of shamanism that goes across all boards and all continents, as it were. So the idea of the lower, the middle, and the upper world, the idea of moving into trance states to be able
Mhm.
to access alternative states of consciousness. Now, whether that's through drumming, whether that's through ceremony, whether that's through plant wisdom journeys, shamanism really is the premise of shamanism is how to access and connect with not only the natural world around us, but also the supernatural world.
Mm.
And this is one of the reasons why I was very much drawn to the shamanic arts. It's non-denominational. Everyone from every religion and every background can really step into this path and not feel like they have to now get rid of, oh, now I can't be a yoga practitioner anymore, or I can't practice Buddhism is if I work with the shamanic arts. It's very, very universal, and the core concepts of shamanism are very, very universal right across the world. And so I also love that we can marry spirituality and very Eastern based mind concepts with very feminine and somatic and embodied practices that really um, encompasses the earth and all the animals that share this wonderful planet with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do believe and I feel that this this is what it also drawn me into. I when I listened to you for the first time, before I knew you, it was really random, and I listened to your podcast, and no, it was a TED Talk, and you had me on hello. It was like, wow, I could feel your vibration, how you have understood the essence of this practice so into the soul. It's like,
Mhm.
not giving your power to gurus and guruisms. That was also something that I was very much drawn to, because all my years of practice in the yoga and the yoga teaching, I have come across into many of these spiritual bypass, so on and so forth. We never worked through the importance that you brought that week as well, and it was so important. So I really want to dive into that part of the shadow work, because it was
Mm.
so powerful. You were talking about archetypes and how we cover our wounds through this mask, and maybe you could talk a little bit about that, because it was so potent for me. And that week, it was a lot that revealed to me, and I understood as well a lot. So I want you to maybe emphasize, why is it so important, this
Mm.
shadow work, and how can one, um, if how do you know if you're vibrating in your shadow or light, and how can you go about to
Mm. So there's a lot of great questions in here. Thank you
know
so
it?
much for bringing it up. Um, I- they say that shamanism, to walk the shamanic path, is very much a path of shadow and light, and that the colors of a shaman, I don't call myself a shaman, but as a practitioner, as a medicine woman, um, for me as a facilitator, for instance, it's so important to understand um, and become aware of those unconscious drives that each one of us has. So, in this context, and very much like Jungian's work, Carl Jung's work, we're really looking at bringing that which has been in our unconscious or subconscious, and bring that fully to the table. Because as I was sharing in the training as well, shamanism is a path of power. And what I mean by that, not a power over others, but our personal relationship to power, how we
Mm,
feel empowered, how we give our power away, and also, most importantly, how we use it or
mm,
abuse it. And for me, walking any authentic spiritual path, whether it's shamanism or Buddhism or the practice of yoga, Christianity, anything that's really speaking into the mysticism of what it is to be of spirit, to continue to align and understand that we are not just a body, not just living in a physical world, is to also embrace all of those parts of us, our dark stories, which is embracing our rage, our anger, our fire, our
yeah.
fear, our whatever it is that society has deemed as negative and what we have deemed as negative, to really work with those stories so that we can turn them into those gifts of the golden shadow. So what is contained within our rage, our capacity to set boundaries, our capacity to be able to understand what is a yes for me, what is a no, what will I allow in my life, what is my true compass north. All of that is encompassed not only with our joy and our light and our energy that brings beauty to our lives, but also understanding that we need that balance. We really need that balance. So, for me, there is so much spiritual bypassing in the communities and so many platitudes that,
Mhm.
everything is a mirror or everything. Well, there is that concept of life being the sacred mirror. However, it doesn't mean that we get to spiritual bypass and not do the deep work of what it is to become an integrated and whole individual.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love every word. You know, it feels like it's scary. It's
It,
scary to go into those deep, deep, dark parts of you that you don't want to see. And it takes courage. Do you believe that we always need this little bit of shake up to realize this shadow? Do you believe that one can actually understand by itself that oh, I'm actually vibrating in my shadow? Because I don't know. I felt like I've always needed a push or I've always been drawn to this extreme work that is bringing all these shadow parts of me that I can see it and work with it. What what is your
Mm. Well,
this-
I feel that obviously not everyone is drawn to really doing what I would call the authentic work on themselves because as you shared, Ramona, it is so terrifying and it is so humbling when we can really look in our into our eyes in the mirror and see ourselves for who we really are.
Mm,
And do I believe that we need a shake-up? Yes, I truly believe that most people
yeah.
will not move on to any authentic path of whether it's spirituality or personal development unless they've had some kind of a shake-up
Mm,
within their lives because, you know, our society doesn't really support it. And it
no.
doesn't mean that everyone who has had a difficult childhood or has gone through some very potent transformation will find themselves seeking out spirituality or personal development. But I think for many of those of us who have, it definitely has begun with some type of trauma or something that really pulled the rug from underneath us to make us question reality and to question what it is to be human. Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I also feel that it's so much needed today. I really feel that
Mm.
it's if we want to co-create this new earth or new human, if you want, we need to do this essential work, right? And so grateful to come across the teachers. What if you feel that you're living with someone? This is also something from my background, living with someone who is really comfortable and not wanting to do the work, but you see that, okay, he or she is vibrating in this shadow too much. And it's so hard to not judge and it's so hard to not control. Do you have any advice for how can you lovingly help your partner or spouse or friend when you see that they are really vibrating in that shadow, and if you have
Hmm.
help. um,
Well, you know, I'm at a point where you know, obviously, you know that I'm married, and for me to walk a path with my husband at the moment, you know, it was imperative for me because it's very high on my values that he is also seeking a path of personal development,
mm,
accountability that is oriented more towards spirit than
mm,
materialism. I would say that for anyone who perhaps is married or in a partnership, that they began before they started walking the path and awakening to what you know a deeper meaning of life is for them. It would be imperative at least that that individual, the person that they're with, is at least open to
mm.
them exploring their spirituality or to explore their expansion and their, you know, new ways of being in the world. Or I would say, it would be very, very difficult to keep a connection going with someone if the other party is not willing to have a look at themselves authentically. And I don't mean that everyone needs to be on the same path as us, because that's not true. But I do believe that if one person is on a path of deep growth and the other
Mm.
one isn't, it usually will not work out in the long term unless that other person genuinely starts becoming more interested in at least personal development. At
Yeah.
least, at the very least. They don't
Mm.
have to be spiritual per se, but at least that individual is looking at themselves, looking at the unconscious drives that they have, so on and so forth. Otherwise, it's very rare that I've seen people stay together when one person has had a very deep spiritual awakening
Mm.
or psychological opening, whether that's through trauma or an experience that is ecstatic. It would
Mm.
be very, very rare if one person is stuck in a very linear and old paradigm way of thinking to be with someone who wasn't. I would say that both people, and there's no, for me, it's not one is better than the other. It's just where would we resonate? Where would the connection be? Even
Yeah.
if there was a lot of love,
Mm.
eventually you would move apart. And
Mm.
yet I have seen people stay together. Um, as I said, the caveat would have to be that you at least support that other individual
Or-
and that other individual who is on that path of spirituality and growth has other people they can talk to about what they're going through and about what they are experiencing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The very minimum.
Minimum. And also willing to do the work, that you're there for each other and you're there to support
Yes.
each other and help each other to grow, because that's
Well,
essential.
but some people are not interested in that. And I think some people are not interested in growth. Some people are really interested in the material world that we live in, and they're very happy as they
Mm.
are. And that's great. But I think for those of us that are definitely on a path of evolution, of consciousness, then that for me, that would never, ever, one would never support the other
Yeah, too.
eventually.
I totally resonate with that too. Yeah, definitely. Hence, I am really feeling like it's hard to meet the partner where I feel like, yeah, there's so much work then, and I'm continuously working, and it's never stopping. Like a radical acceptance that I am also human and imperfect, and that's okay. We all walk the truth of the essence of our soul. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
tell me.
Ramona, I think once we get very clear on what our values are and what is a non-negotiable, and then we just let that go in a way, because I meet so many women that are wanting to call in their beloved, and we all know that usually there's a lot more women in the spaces than men.
Hmm.
However, what I am seeing is that more and more men are starting to
Yes.
become very interested in personal development because they can see the benefits that it has in their relationships, in their friendships, and in their life at large.
And it was beautiful. It was beautiful to actually see the men in our group. It was like so powerful to witness that. And I'm grateful.
Yes.
I do see that it's important. Um, I want to talk a little bit about rituals, because I probably could probably do like 20 episodes just on shamanic and all the rituals that there are. But some of the simple rituals like the anointment, it's so powerful, so simple, but so powerful every day. I am in awe, and every day I feel like this is something I really want to share. Would you be able to share with us a little few simple rituals that one can do? Don't have to be shamanic practitioner, that you can bring into your life and feel the joy and love of ancestors.
Yes. I mean, for me, one of the simple practices is to, um, one thing is the importance and value of the breath. So just taking 5 minutes in the morning, you might want to just light a candle, bring your hands onto your heart and just start breathing in and breathing out, but become conscious of that. And then the simple practice and the simple question of what can I be grateful for today? Just that, because I find that so often today I'm grateful that I have my health. Today I'm grateful that these eyes of mine allow me to be able to receive the beauty in the world. Today I'm grateful that I have a home and clothes and food where so many people in the world don't. You know, we can start really big with the gratitude and then bring it back and bring it back and bring it back and bring it back to just today. I am grateful that I'm alive. Just to bring it back, because for me, a lot of the time when we lose our connection to source and to ourselves, it's usually very, very simple. We've lost that sense of gratitude of just the miracle of life. And
Mm.
of course, not every day we wake up and go, wow, I'm so grateful to be alive, because there's always going to be something that is going on, that is going to test us, that is going to trigger us, that might annoy us. But can we come back into that heart space and go, okay, this has happened. Can I bring myself back to my breath, back to my heart, back to gratitude, and back to this moment?
Mm.
Just to be in the moment. For me, that is probably the most simple practice that I can share with everyone. And, you know, Martin, my husband, and I, we do a daily gratitude practice where we will meditate for 20 minutes. And at the end, we literally say a prayer or an invocation. And it's not about, I want this or I want that. It's how can we continue to align with our highest timeline, with our highest creative potential. And a part of that is really, I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for the animals. I'm grateful for X, Y, Z. If we could just change the story of what we always want more, we always want more, we always want more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just a
It's
simple gratitude practice.
exactly the gratitude is one of the highest vibration after love, isn't it? It's just
I
bringing
agree.
so much, and it's so simple that you can do every day. But we just, we get so caught up every day, every morning when we wake up. The first thing is maybe you're looking at your phone and scrolling, and you forget yourself. You forget all these little tiny steps that is so so important into becoming just aware, hey, I'm alive. What brings joy in my life right now? And that
Absolutely.
gratitude is everything. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you have any specific message or transmission for us today in order to move
Ooh.
authentic power?
To move into our authentic power. For me, for each one of us to move into our real authentic power is to find a way to let go of the part of us that genuinely cares what other people think about how we are living our lives.
Mm.
Because I think the process from being a people pleaser to really sitting in the center of our authenticity and sharing our truth from that space.
Mm.
Again, it's not a power over others. It's a power that claims that this is who I am and this is my truth and this moment. And in that, I'm not attached to how you respond to this. I'm not attached to what you honestly think about me. The most important thing is I can look at myself, and this is for all of us, in that mirror and genuinely love what I see and who I am and how whatever I've gone through to get to this point. I've never seen an individual step into their authentic power that really cares about what other people think about them. That's a big one for most women. Men,
Oh
I
yeah.
think, are very good at, they're very clear with each other. They don't necessarily, they're not so focused on what other people think about them. And you can see with the magazines, the beauty industry, and everything that is bombarded down our throats if we're over 35 years old, that you are not okay if you're a woman who is moving into their eldership. And, I really truly believe it's designed to keep us small and being concerned about things that are so ridiculous when this is the most powerful and potent time as a woman, moving beyond the years of 40, 50, 60. These can, I truly believe, be the most productive and inspiring time of our lives because we've let go of the care of what other people think. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely, it's not that you try and shock people, or it's like, honestly, why would we give our power away in that way? So for me, that is the first step.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Lose the fear of what other people think about what you are doing in your life, and you will liberate yourself to create your own path forward that is unique and powerful and deeply aligned with your highest truth.
But don't you think that comes actually from that deepest wound, this people pleaser, like, oh, I might disappoint this person if I am not, giving, this is the wound that most women as well, I mean, including myself, I had this, is like, it's hard. It's
It
hard to
is.
feel like, I don't care about what you say or you do. I'm just genuinely gonna listen to what this body and this mind wants to move forward. And so yeah, maybe it's all related to that little child being wounded
Mm.
and not.
I don't, for me personally, it's not that I don't care so much about what other people think or their opinions. It's trusting ourselves enough to know that we actually know what is best.
Mhm.
We actually do know what is best for ourselves. And now that is kind of liberating because in that you may think, oh, I'm going to make a mistake, or you'll make a mistake. And so what?
So
And so what?
thank you. So
That's also
you're
part
a
of the
human being.
teachings.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So it's, like I will seek out advice sometimes from others, but ultimately, and I'll say this, and I'll say this caveat, I will seek out advice from others who are doing what I have done, or who have already created what I might want to create, not from people that are not experts per se in what it is that I might want to create. It's like asking someone who's never written a book
Mhm.
advice about the book that you might want. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Totally. I get that. Yes.
So I think, it's not that we don't seek out advice, or that we don't seek wisdom from those who have walked the path before us, but it's finding out who that person is,
Mhm.
and, understanding, as you shared, Ramona, there is always those little parts that we have to nourish and hold, that have always wanted to people please so that we could fit in or keep the peace or be
Yeah.
seen as the good girl or the good boy. So, true liberation is really stepping into the authenticity of who we are, and not compromising on that.
Thank you. It's so beautiful. Really radical acceptance. It's
That's
just,
it.
yeah, this is something I believe more and more women are getting there, and I see, and I also see in my work that yeah, it's coming, but it's coming from a place where you have embodied as a teacher and as an inspiring figure, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Thank
So,
you so much.
thank you so much. What, tell us a little bit where we can find you. I am so excited because you are coming with the level 2 of a ceremonial shamanic practitioner. Tell us a little bit about that, and also for those who are maybe drawn a little bit to this work, where they can find you, where.
Mm. Well, Ramon, thank you so much for asking. I am currently having my new website built, but it is at beataalföldi.com. That's the website, and it will remain as that. I created my internationally accredited shamanic practitioner training. It is now the first level. I wouldn't say it's level 1 because it's still super intense, but it
Oh,
is
yeah.
the first one.
Mhm.
I will be bringing it to Portugal next year in a completely different retreat venue in the Algarve from the 13th to the 20th of September. And level 2, as it were, and this is really designed for those people that have already completed the first level of the training, but want to take their work and who are very serious about the shamanic arts and cultivating stronger spaces. So this is geared more towards facilitators, practitioners of the shamanic arts, space holders, ceremonialists, those people that want to up level their skills specifically in terms of space holding. And that will be from the 6th to the 11th of June next year. And that recently just got internationally accredited as well. On the last day of our training, I received an email, which was just great news. And
Wonderful. Yeah.
thank you. And that is an advanced certification in shamanic space holding, ceremony, and embodied facilitation.
That's amazing. I
Yeah,
am so, so much looking forward to that.
me too.
But you do also other retreats. You do also
Yes.
plant medicine
That's
retreat.
right. I've got a women's retreat in Mexico at the end of November. I only have 2 spaces left for that, and that is working with the ancestral plant medicine of Huachuma or San Pedro. And next year also, I will be teaming up with the Alternatives in the UK, and they have been around for more than 40 years. They've worked with people like Greg Braden, Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, you name it. And they've asked me to actually lead their retreat in Peru next year. And that will, yes, it's going to be super exciting. So that is going to be, um, that's in October. Yes,
Okay, for next year?
that's right. I
Great.
think that's from the 8th to the 20th of October, if I'm correct, which I think I am. No, I am. It's from the 8th to the 20th. It's a 12 night, 13-day retreat, and we'll be starting in Cusco. I've spent a lot of time in Peru. I've lived there, so I have a lot of amazing contacts. And so
Mm.
I've really curated an incredible program with my on-ground support there, David Tejada, who is an indigenous Quiero. And so we're going from Cusco through the Sacred Valley up to Machu Picchu and all the way back. You know, we're also going to
My
be
God.
giving back with to a community in Chinchero, you know, because for me, the idea of reciprocity and aini and right relationship, as you know, Ramona, is so
Mm.
important. So, you know, for
Abs-
me, it's important that when I bring people to these types of journeys, and they are journeys, they're not just a live-in retreat, they're actually an expedition and a journey, that we understand that we are going to a third world country, and let's not just go there to take, but let's go there to give back and to make the lives of the people that are indigenous to that land much better. So it's going to be amazing.
So beautiful. I am so much looking forward to that. 2026, bring it
Bring it on, darling. It's going to be gorgeous.
Wow, I am so, so honored to have you, Beata, as a mentor and as a teacher.
Oh,
I am so grateful for you taking your time to come to this podcast. It means really a lot to me. Thank you so.
oh, Ramona, I just when you shared it, I was like, I love I love the style of it. I love the heart, most importantly, of what you embody and who you are as a woman and what you are here to share in the world. And I really, for me, my deep passion is to elevate women's voices. So, you're a part of that. And for me, it's really important now that we come together as women, really, and stand up for everything that is happening in the world right now. It's important that we become these anchors, these pillars of love and compassion in a world where there is so much going on.
Oh, to that. Thank you so much. Really,
Mm.
I can feel it, and I am so honored to be
Oh,
part of it.
yes, likewise, darling.
Is
We're
there
we're really
anything,
here.
yeah, is there anything you would like to share before we say goodbye? And
I would really love to share that, the Dalai Lama in one of his speeches shared that it would be the Western woman eventually that actually saves this world. And for all of the women and the men who are supporting and love strong women, whether it's your wife or your sister or your mother or your niece or your daughter, is you know the more and more that I walk this path, the more I understand the meaning of that sentiment, because we as Western women are living very free lives compared to so many other people, not only women, but men in the world. And for me, we need to start using the privilege that we have as women that live free lives, that we all have so much in comparison to so many others, that it's time for us to start coming together and build those networks of grace, as Andrew Harvey said in his book, Sacred Activism. So let's build networks of grace together where we move away from the old paradigm of competition and jealousy and fear, and understand that we as women are so much stronger when we unite together and support each other. And I do believe that moving forward, we will literally see more and more communities of women
yes,
together, living together, making change together, creating projects together that are deeply fulfilling and powerfully impactful for the world.
I do believe that too. Let's keep that vision. Totally. It's a beautiful network of grace. How
Annette,
wonderful. I love
yes,
I
me
love
too.
ah,
Me
it's
too,
giving me
darling.
goosebumps all over my body.
Mm.
So it is thank you so much, Beata.
No, thank you so much, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ramona. I'm so grateful that we've shared this time together. It's always wonderful to be in your heart company, in your good company. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all your work as well.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy this beautiful conversation with Beata Alföldi. And if you need any of assistance, you know where to find her. I will put the link of her website below and during my podcast. And also this month until end of October, I am offering donation-based shamanic journeying and practicing. If there is anything that you would like me to help you with, if there is any questions, any wonder, any challenges that you're going through at this time, know that you can reach out and I'd be more than happy to share some of these practices with you. Until then, take good care of yourself and I hope to see you very soon.